Yeah, just so again, final is next Thursday, August 1st, 10 till 12. In CBT 160, we will covering chapter 7, 8, 9, and 10, including 10.1 and 10.2. You are allowed to use one front page of notes, which is the standard size page. One front page, not back and front, just the front. So I will walk around and check your one front page of notes here. StatCrunch syntax and 8.1 page 2 will be provided. So some of you was wondering what's the StatCrunch syntax. So this is the StatCrunch syntax I'm talking about. Again, I'm not gonna label any numbering here. That means this is a clean piece of paper here. So this is what we call StatCrunch syntax here. So this will be given in the finals. And then the 8.1 page 2 that we've been using it quite a lot in the class here, will be also private in the test. So this is the 8.1 page 2, which is the without any highlights and without any rate typing here. So this page will be provided also in your finals. So for those who are wondering what is provided in the finals, computers and laptops have to be used. So if you have a laptop, bring your laptop with you on the finals day. Otherwise, use the computer in the school because StatCrunch will be used in your test. You need to use StatCrunch for sure. Calculators, if you have calculators, bring your calculators. No cell phone calculators are allowed. If you don't have one, you can borrow it from me. I will bring a set of calculators to the test. Review, today we'll be going over the review for it. You can find the review right over here. And then right underneath the review is the solution of the review. I'll give you a look what it looks like. And then on Monday, you can also find in D2L. I'll show you where it is at. And then on Monday, coming Monday, we will be going over the pre-test. So the pre-test is right over here. As you guys know that the pre-tests are very similar to your tests. So please attend the class on Monday to understand the test of finals. If you do not able to come, I will record and please watch the video. And if you have any questions with this, please come and talk to me as soon as possible because especially the test here, I recommend as you also aware about that, we have no class on Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are study days here. But I will be in Zoom on the same time, same Zoom link, 10 to 11:30. If you have any questions with the finals or homework questions or any questions you have, so on Tuesday and Wednesday, please, if you have any questions, come to the Zoom class. I'll be here to teach you. And then you got the last 3 homework due on next Wednesday, the 31st, 9.3, 10.1, and 10.2. So if you're not able to come to the finals on the Thursday, you have to take it either on Tuesday and Wednesday. As I mentioned, I will be gone after that. So after Thursday class, after you take the finals, I'll be gone. I'm leaving the city actually. So please talk to me. This is super important here. I lost my train of thought here. Yeah, so what else? I think this is it. I will update your homework here in D2L because I have not put in the chapter 7 and chapter 8, the one that is due last night into your D2L. I will do it today. So you will see the grade. So your current grade here. Again, your final is 40% of your overall grade, which is a big chunk of points here. So some of you were asking me about where can I find the review for the finals and final pretest. It will be under materials and content, okay, where you find your go into your My Stat Lab here. So the pretest is the review test is where you will get the review and the solution for the review. This is the it's under review test here. This is where you get your reviews, your documents for it. And the pretest is right here. And the key, actually, I have the key. I actually you won't see it, but not right now. You only see the final pretest, and so the key will be released on Monday. So please come to class on when I go over the pretests here. Very important. And then before we start today's class, I want to go over 10.1 and 10.2 homework here because there are some questions that students might have not know how to do it because again, I taught this for 10, 15 years. Let me see which student is it. Which students? Which question is it? Which question is it? So question 3 is where if you click on here, they have these 6 scatter plots and they give 5 scatter plot and 5 are here. They will tell you which you just mix and match them. Okay, which is, I think we go through this before. Again, these kind of questions will be, oh, actually 3 and 4 is the same. Yep, 3 and 4 is the same. So I will suggest you to practice this because you will get these kind of questions in your finals. Yeah, this is the one that question 5 is the one that I need to teach you how to do this. Because mostly all the questions that in 10.1 and 10.2, they provide you the table X and Y, and you just need to open in StatCrunch, and they will import this data into the StatCrunch, and then you will able to draw the scatter plot and do all the regression analysis using what we call as the stat regression simple linear in StatCruncher, and you were able to do all this work that the question want you to do. So the table for the critical value that you see here, please ignore it. Again, we never use any tables. So if you see any tables provided, just skip it. So question 5 is the one that I want to bring it out, is because this question 5, they do not provide us any data. Okay, like 6 and 7, all the questions you see in 10.1 and 10.2, they always give you the X and Y variables here. Unfortunately, for question 5, they don't. So what you need to do here is, I'm open up StatCrunch right here, so right here, so you can see it. In order for you to do which is X, what is the data in this case, you actually need to do the coordinates. So I'm gonna make this this bigger so you guys can see the data in this case, the scatter plot here. So in this case, your scatter plot shows this, and in order for you to do this, so let's say this is the first coordinate point. So you need to read the coordinates in this case. Your X in this case is 2, and your Y in this case is 2. So that means that your first data or your first point in this case is 2, 2, which is X is 2, Y is 2. And then next data is this data. So this data in this case is 8, X is 8, and Y is also 8. So we got X is 8, Y is 8, and then this one is 8 also X, but our Y is 9. And then the next one we have is X is 8, Y is 10. Okay, so this is the one that I'm going upwards here. And then this one, the next one we do is this point right on the next to it. Your X is 9, but my Y is 8. So the next point we have is 9, 8, and then 9, 9, and 9, 10. So this will be the coordinates for this row here. And then the next one is the last row. X is 10, Y is 8, and then X is 10, y is 9 and 10 and 10. So this will be for the last row, 10, 8, 10, 9, 10, 10. So you will get 10 points. These are how you, because the question doesn't give us the coordinates point. This is the coordinates point that you have here. So the question is asking us, does the data appear to have a strong linear correlation? So in order for us to figure out if they are strong, your correlation is supposed to be between 0.7 and 0.9. So in order for us to figure out, we go to stat, regression, simple linear. X is X, Y is Y variables, and everything's the same. Compute. What you found out in this case class, your correlation coefficient is 0.88. So 0.88 is considered strong. Okay, so this is how we do this question here. And then the next question is asking us what is R here. So by looking at the StatCrunch we just did here, your R is this. So in how many 3 decimal place, this is 0.880. Okay. And then do we have any questions? Yep. So is there a linear correlation? So as I mentioned yesterday, you do not need to so this question didn't call us to do the whole 7 steps to perform linear correlation. So this question, we're just looking for p-value and alpha. So if your p-value is less than alpha, then the answer is yes. So in this case, your p-value here is less than alpha here. So your answer is yes. Again, usually I don't call you to do the critical region. I will say that that is yes, because the correlation is in the critical region. So I will tell you that just ignore the word critical region. Again, in the test, you won't see this. I will call you to actually perform the whole 7 steps of hypothesizing, and we use p-value and alpha. We never use the critical values that is in the table here. So please kind of like, so make sure you know if you answer yes, then it is in the critical region. If your answer is not a linear correlation, then you say it's not in the critical region. That will be the one that you just need to pick. Okay. And then this question asking us to exclude the 0.22. So what you do here, class, is I'm going to cross this one out, and I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to delete this row. Okay. So this is the meaning when the question want me to exclude 22. So I delete the first row. So you just right click this and then delete row in this case. Okay. So now we're gonna restart the whole process, that regression and simple linear. So now our data only have 9 instead of 10 points. If you read if your 22 has been excluded, you find out that your correlation in this case is 0. Okay. So it's given us 0 in this case. So that is the correlation we have in this case. And if you go to the next, you find out that you only have this 9 dots, because that will be what happens if you exclude the 22 in this case. And then the question is asking, is there a linear correlation? Where is my, oops, shoot. Ugh, do I just X it out? So again, you look at the alpha and so on. So so you guys go ahead and do this, and so this will be I think the last questions we have for this one. Yeah. So this will be the last question we do it here. So please try to do this yourself. And the main part in this case class is I'm teaching you how to enter this into your StatCrunch. Make sure you know how to do that. And you also get similar questions in 10.2. Okay. So these are the questions for chapter 10. So hopefully this will help you to do your homework here. Okay. All right. So today's class, we are concentrating on doing the review for the finals. And I also include this final formula that we type out quite a bit yesterday, and I am so sorry about my handwriting. I just read it now, and it was like, ooh, this is really bad. And if you guys do not understand or can't read my handwriting on this piece of paper here, or this formula paper here, please let me know. You say, David, what is number one means? Can you type it? Can you tell me what's number one again, or what's number five, or what's number two? So these are the numbers. There are 10 of them here. So make sure you understand this, or put this in your cheat sheet here, as your one front page that notes that you're allowed to bring in the test here. Now, today's class, before I start going over the review, is to distinguish which test is which. Okay. So using the stack crunch syntax we have, I'm going to start using number 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way to 18. So if I put a number underneath it, means that that is for the stack crunch syntax that we'll be using here. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to do this. This is also important, super important here. So if you want to follow along how I built this built this cheat sheet here, please take empty paper, a blank piece of paper, and then fold the paper right in a half, and then I think this is half, and then you just draw a line underneath, separate it, and make sure the paper is in a landscape form. That means diagonal, not in the horizontal form, not in the vertical form. Okay, so it means if you do it in high school, I think they call it hot dog, something like that. Hot dog, not hamburger or whatever. I don't know what the name of it. So they have a name. So make sure you split in half, and one of these is for the population proportion. I'm going to use shortcut, and I will try my best to write nicely. P. And one of them is for population. We should put it in the middle. So those who are, make sure this two is in the middle. This is supposed to be in the middle of the line here. And then make sure you know that the sampling distribution, when you do population proportion, is always Z. Okay, I don't care you're doing one sample or two sample, or you are doing hypothesis testing or confidence interval. So doesn't matter, as long as it's talking about proportion. The sampling distribution is Z. But for the population mean, the sampling distribution is T. Okay, this is super important, because I will ask you this in the test. It's kind of like a free 1 point for you guys. How do you distinguish between population proportion and population mean? Population proportion usually is for categorical variables. Just again, short form. And usually you will see a percent on it. Now, this percent is not the percent coming from the confidence interval, the confidence level. So the percent does not involve with this. Construct a 99% confidence. So this 99% is not the percent I'm talking about. Okay. So when you see the word 90% confidence interval, that do not associate this 90% confidence interval with the percent that we have here. So this percent usually found in the sample, or in the results, in the pool, or in the survey. Okay. For the population mean, this is for the quantitative variable. My handwriting is getting worse now. So I'm going to put it down a little bit here. So this is for the quantitative variables. And usually you have the word mean on it. So in the questions, when you see the word mean on it, usually you have, like, that's the keyword you're looking for. That will be the key, the population mean here. Usually, so that is the keyword you're looking for. So if you read, you see the word mean, that is for him. Okay. Now, and then now we can start to branch it out. Okay. So once you know that this is proportion, then you can do, are they having one group or one big sample? Or if you break it into two groups. Okay. So one or two groups. Okay. If it's one group, are you doing confidence interval? Or are you doing hypothesis test? Same thing happens. If it's two groups, are we doing confidence interval? Or are we doing hypothesis testing? Okay. Or both. Sometimes you can do both. So I'm going to make this smaller so I can see what is the syntax for this case. Where's my friend? There you go. So if it's a population proportion for one group for confidence interval, this is actually 7.1. Okay, or in this case, number 9. Put number 9 here. So number 9 means you have to do stat, proportion stat, one sample with some. That's what you do. Okay. For hypothesis testing, that will be, this is performing high for, this will be 13, number 13. Okay, so when I say 13 means look at this. Again, this is provided in your finals. If it's two groups, two groups, that will be 15. So no matter which one you do, this will be 15. But I want to point out about how you write your statement here, your hypothesis statements. Your statement in this case, if you have a one group, you use P. So the null hypothesis is always P equals to P0. And your alternative in this case is P is less than, come on, less than, greater than, or not equals to P0. And P0 in this case is your claim value. This is your claim value. And again, claim value comes in the claim statement in the question when they say test the claim. It's come in a claim statement. Okay. For the two groups, if you're doing a hypothesis testing, the claim, the now and the hypothesis statements are P1 is equals to P2. And this is P1 is less than, greater than, or not equals to P2. And I think you guys know which one to pick since you guys did the homework already that is due yesterday. So it's also coming in the claim statement. Okay, so this is all for proportion piece here. Now, the conditions, please check the, so for the conditions, requirements, sorry, for the requirements, please check for the cheat sheet, okay? So I just, if you want, you can put it down here. Where is my friend? There you go. The requirements for the population proportion, SRS, binomial, at least 5 success and 5 failure. So these are the requirement in this case. So I just do it very quick here. SRS, binomial. I just put binomial, short form for binomial. At least 5 success and at least 5 failure. Okay, so this is the requirement which is, you can find in here, in your formula here. And yes, this requirement check is for one group or two groups. Doesn't matter confidence interval hypothesis testing, as long as it's for population proportion. And now we're going to go some notation in this case. Okay, so notation means what is the notation we will be using here? Oh yeah, this is all the beans I'm gonna spill out to you guys, so you guys will see the difference between these two, and then you will tag me if you uh so the first thing we do is p hat. So p hat in this case is called the sample proportion. And sometimes you also call this as your best point estimate. So I'm going to short form best point estimate become BEP, short form. Best point, BPE, best BPE, best point estimate. And this formula is, if this is not given to us, it is X over N. Okay. And usually the sample proportion is in decimals. Okay, so this is usually in decimals. I put DEC for decimals in this case. Okay, so what is X in this case? X in this case is what we call as number of success. If this is not given in the question, you should, if they're not given to you, then if you remember how we find X here using this one, you multiply N to that side. So the number of success in this case is N times P hat. Okay, so if a question is not given to us, that's how you do it. You multiply N to that side. So that means that in the questions, in the test or homework, I will either provide you P hat or X. Okay, so one of those that we use. And in this case is the sample size. So how many people in the sample here? Well, sometimes we call it number of observation. Okay. The P by itself, so P hat is sample proportion. P by itself is population proportion. And this is the one that usually we do not know. We use the P hat to predict P. What else? Alpha is called significant level. And this is usually given in the question, if they tell you to do. E in this case is called the margin of error. And the formula to find margin of error is the same formula all the time. Upper minus lower divided by 2. No change here. So this is the notation we will use. Okay. So what StatCrunch need when they use this? Oh, I forgot to write that P0, last one, which is the claim value. P0 is the claim value. Oh, yes, I got another place to squeeze in here. This is the claim value. And again, the claim value come from the claim statement. So you notice that only the one group or one sample is where you have the claim value involved. But if you have two groups, you don't have the claim value involved. Okay, so these are the notation that we have for this case. So this is for population proportion, how we do this. Okay. Now we're gonna backtrack to the population mean. So again, this has the same thing. This is 1 and this is 2. I'm gonna shortcut this because of the time. Okay. And then either you perform a confidence interval or hypothesis testing. Now for the 2 one is special because when you do 2 will break it down, this is for the mean, into either it is independent or they are dependent match pair. Okay. So this is special because now you break this into 2 more. And is it independent? Are we doing confidence interval or are we doing hypothesis testing or both? Okay, sometimes the question asks you to do both. And for the dependent one, it's also the same thing. Are they asking you to do confidence interval, or are they using hypothesis testing, or both? Okay. Now, if you have the friend of that StatCrunch, there you go. So if you have the one population to find a confidence interval for one population proportion, a population mean, you are doing number 10. Okay. For do the other side so I can get some room over here. Then for the hypothesis testing for where's my there you go. Hypothesis testing for population mean, that's number 14. Okay. For the two population mean that are independent, that will be number 16. So again, doesn't matter, it is a confidence interval hypothesis. And then this is number 17. Okay, for the dependent or match pair. Okay, that is taking care of that. Then we will talk about the statement. So how do you write your statement for one sample for to do the hypothesizing for the population mean? We will do mu1 equals to mu0. And then this is mu is less than, greater than, not equals to mu0. Again, what is mu0? Which is similar as p0. We call that as your claim value. Okay, so this is for the one hypothesis testing for population mean. For the 2-1, if it's independent, the null and alternative hypothesis in this case is mu1 equals to mu2. And mu1 is less than, greater than, and not equals to mu2. Okay. And for the hypothesis that is depending on matched pair, then the statement is mu d equals 0. And mu d is less than, greater than, not equals to 0. So this is the statement in this case. The requirement is the same requirement we did over here. For the population mean, doesn't care it's 1 or 2 or independent, dependent. SRS, CLT, and then robust case for small sample size, symmetrical, one mode, no outliers. Those are the requirement here. So you kind of know we're gonna put it right here. So the requirement here is no room to squeeze this fellow. Yep, no room. So I just want you to go ahead and requirement here. Please check the piece of paper that we have for the requirement, which is the one I just mentioned here. So these are the requirements over here. So copy this and paste it over here. And I will do it after class. I'll post the requirement here. Okay. Notations. That's the next one we're going to talk about. Notation here is we have X bar. So X bar in this case is what we call as sample mean. And this will be your BPE, which stands for the best point estimate. Okay. Now we don't have formulas when you like X over N or N times P hat like what we have in proportion. This one usually is either given in the questions, so you do not need to worry about that. Then we have N, which is called the sample size. And S, which is called the sample standard deviation. We have mu, which is called the population mean. And then we have the sigma, which is the population standard deviation. And this, I will use a rate to cross it out. Usually population standard deviation is unknown here. So you see I scratch it out. So to telling you that we doesn't know this. So that's why I scratch it. Sigma alpha is the significant level. which is the same as what we just did last time here. E is the margin of error. And again, the margin of error, the formula, same thing, upper minus lower divided by 2. Cannot run away from this. And the mu zero that you see here is the claim value. Okay. Now, I didn't write the requirement. And then on the, so you have a little, if you have a little room on the corner, bottom right here, I'm going to use ping here. So this will be totally separate from these two. This is where you do the correlation and regression. This is the chapter 10 you just learned yesterday. For that case, the sampling distribution is still T. So always T. For the stack crunch, you're gonna use the very last one, which is number 18. So I put 18 on it. And for correlation regression, you only perform hypothesis testing. You don't do confidence interval. Okay. And for the hypothesis testing, the statement is rho equals to 0 and rho not equals to 0. So we don't have to test less than or greater than. It's only those. What else? R notation. Why go here to separate this fellow? Requirement, please check the requirements from the paper that we have. The requirement for correlation regression is right here. Okay, so this is the requirement for that. Okay. I will fill it in later on. And for notations, mostly all the notation is the same. R in this case is sample. Called linear correlation. Rho is the population. Linear correlation. The rest is almost the same. I'm not going to write it down. And when you do the regression piece, the regression piece will come as y hat equals to B0 plus B1x. So this is the regression piece, where your x in this case is what we call as the explanatory variable. And y hat in this case is called the prediction or predicted variables. B0, because it is not next to the x, is called a y-intercept. And B1, since it's next to the variable x, if you look at the regression, this is your slope. Okay. So, and then the rest is the same thing. The significant level is alpha, and so nothing much more is the same as that. So this is the regression piece in this case, which is totally completely separate from these two. Okay. So this is the what we call as a cheat sheet for doing this. So I'm gonna save this as called the cheat sheet. Chapter 7 to 10. Okay, so I will also post this in D2L today. So make sure if you want, or and I will definitely finish out writing the requirements here. So now the question is, how do we use this cheat sheet? Okay, so I will teach you how to do this. This is super important class, so please pay attention. So by looking at the review for the exam here, okay, so I will be teaching you how to use the cheat sheet in this case. First, when you read the first question example, So let's read the first question here. And you have to ask yourself, is this proportion or is this mean? Or is this regression or correlation? But I don't think so. This is okay. Let's read this question here, and they will tell which one is which for the first question. So now do not look at this percent, 98%, and tell me, oh, David says percent, so it's proportion. No, because this is stick to the confidence interval, so we cannot use that as the percent that I mentioned in there. But you will see this word percentage came out. So anyone wants to take a wild guess? Is this a proportion or is this a mean? Anyone? Wild guess? Again, the word percentage came out. So percentage is also the same word as proportion. Okay. And then you will ask yourself, once you get this proportion or mean. So now if you look at the cheat sheet, we are only concentrating on the left side because they are proportion. And then ask yourself, is this a one or two groups? Okay, once you know it's here on the proportion piece, ask yourself, is that one or two groups? Because they are talking about one group, because they're talking about the whole group here, they don't break it into male, female, or other, in two different groups. So this is proportion one group. And we are doing confidence interval because the question here is asking us to do confidence interval. If they ask us to do hypothesis testing, then I will say test a claim. Okay. So so in this case, that if you look at the cheat sheet that we just create, we are doing proportion is one group confidence interval. So we are doing number 9. Okay. So I'm going to put number 9. So we're doing this number 9 here. What is the meaning when I say number 9 in this case? Number 9 in this case is for the stack crunch. So I put stack crunch 9. So stack SC9 means that you have to use this stat proportion stat one sample with summary. So what you do is go to stack crunch and you're going to do number 9 here. Yep, this is how we do kind of like so stats. What was that called? I forgot. Stat proportion stat one sample with summary. I'm gonna separate this into 2 so you guys can see it. It's so difficult to teach with one screen. Stats, proportion stats, one sample with summary. So this is what you need to do, and make sure you click on the confidence interval because we're doing confidence interval. Now you can put in the value. So they need number of success, and if you doesn't know what is number of success, that is your X. That will be 25 if you read this question. 25 in this case out of 669. So in this case, this will be your X, and this will be your N. And this is your level. So you just put in 25, and then 669, and then the level in this case is 98. Okay, if a question provides you the level, use it. And you hit compute, and your answer in this case will be 0.02 to 0.054. Now, unfortunately, because the question here is asking us for the percent, and the answer you get here is decimals, proportion, you have to change it to percent. So 0.02 will be 2%, and this will be 5.4%. So make sure you guys know that. This is the 98% confidence interval given to us. This is your answer for question 1. But when you look at the solution, oh, this is the solution. So which is this is the solution. But if you look at the solution in this case, I spilled everything. I did the requirement check. I see that I did the requirement check. So this is the solution for the question one here. I did the requirement check. I put down where is it at. I put down the level, and then I give you this answer, and then I give you the another kind of answer, and then I do interpretation here. You see that? Okay. So that's a lot, right? I'm doing a lot of work here. I did in the solution here, right? I did the requirement. I take the stat crunch, and then the confidence interval, and then the interpretation. So a lot of students will ask me about this, like, David, do I need to do all this in this question? One here. I will say maybe or depends. Okay. Because this question, number one, didn't ask us to check the requirement, didn't ask us to interpret the confidence interval. This question only want us to construct or find the 98% confidence interval. Usually, if I just want you to find this in your answer will be just this. You do not need to go through all these things because the question did not ask, but I did the whole 9 yards here. So you guys, so depending on if a question asks you to check the requirement or do all these things. So for me, in the solution that you see in here, I do everything. Okay, I do everything. So depending on the question, which one they want you to do or doesn't want you to do. So in this case, to be more precise, if really this question one comes out, this is the answer I'm looking for. I'm not looking for requirement check. I'm not looking for interpretation. I'm not looking for the rest. I'm looking for the answer here. Okay. So that will be the main part that some students ask me in when you do the review. Questions so far? Okay. So don't forget this, and then some students ask me, David, do I need to show you this in the test? Prop one group, proportion one group, confidence in SC9. No. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want to teach you how to use this cheat sheet. I mean, it'll be good if you write it down in the corner, but you do not need to. So so this is always I ask the students when you do the test here, is that proportion? First thing is ask yourself, is that proportion? Is that mean? Or is that correlation or regression? Okay, that is the first thing you ask. Second thing you ask is that one or two groups? Okay. And then third thing you ask, is that confidence interval or hypothesis testing or both? So this is the questions I always kind of, when you read the questions, this is something you will kind of like, getting yourself with this. So if you get this right, then you kind of go through that cheat sheet to figure out either using number 9 or number 10 or those numbers that we mentioned. Okay. Questions? So let's read question 2. We're also doing a confidence interval. Okay. So ask yourself, is that proportion? Is this mean or is this correlation and regression? You read question 2. Again, the big keyword here is percentage. So can someone tell me, is this proportion, mean, or correlation regression?
Proportion.
So this is proportion because of the word percentage. So I'm going to put it right over here. Now you go for one or two groups. So if you look at this, do they break the union member into one group or break it into two groups?
One.
This is one. Now, if it's two groups, they will have to tell you, group number 1 belongs to New York and group number 2 in Minnesota or something else like that. So you will see more statistics, more results reviewing. And are we doing confidence interval, hypothesis testing, or both? You can tell that this is doing confidence interval because you don't do the tacit claim. So this is exactly the same as what we just did. You just go to StatCrunch number 9, which is exactly the same as number 1. But you just need to put in the numbers, which the numbers here are 300 for n and 112 for x. Okay. I leave it to you to do this because the answer is given in here. And again, this will be your answer when you type it into your StatCrunch. Again, so what I'm doing right now, class, is to kind of guide you which question belongs to which, and so you know how to do this in your StatCrunch and then in your tests, especially in your finals. So hopefully this will help you to figure out which one is which. Okay. All right, I want you guys to read question 3. This is on your own now. And tell me, is this proportion? Is this mean? Or is this correlation regression? Read question 3.
Mean.
Yes, you'll see the word mean pop up a few times. You don't see the word mean for the proportion piece. Okay, like question 1, 2, you don't see it. That's kind of the hint that you will get. So this is mean. Is that 1 or 2 groups?
One.
This is 1. Again, if it's 2 group, then I will say that one group took the calculus finals and the other group took something, so I will break it. Or 30 males took the calculus finals and 30 female took the calculus finals. So now I break the students into 2 groups here. Okay. Confidence interval, hypothesis testing, or both? So this is asking us to perform a confidence interval, right? So now let's bring up our little cheat sheet here, not little. So because you're doing, this is mean. So mean in this case means this is the mean. So we're gonna right-hand side here. You say it is one group. So where's my friend? Right here, one group, okay? And you're doing confidence interval because we are doing 95 or something percent. So you're gonna do number 10 here. So so in StatCrunch, this is number 10. Okay. What is number 10 means? Number 10, oh, that's my friend that is showing me. Number 10 means you have to go to stat, t-stats, one sample. Now the question is that with data or with summary? Okay. So again, you're looking at the, I'm gonna close one of this so I can. So the question, so you look at this, because the question gives us the sample mean, the sample standard deviation. So this one is going to be with summary. Okay. So you go to stat, t-stat, one sample with summary. And this is where you put in your sample mean, which is 79. Standard deviation sample selection is 11.7, and 30 is your sample size. And then you click on the confidence interval, don't forget, and you're doing a 99. Okay. Anyone have any questions? Oh, I didn't put in numbers. And if you put in there, and your answer will become this. Okay, this is your answer. And again, class, I did all the whole thing here. So you do not need to do this unless it is asked in the question. Okay, the requirement check or the interpretation. Okay. Questions here. For question 4, I want you guys to read question 4. While you read question 4, I am going to take attendance. And I recommend you guys to watch this video again if you doesn't know how to know which one is which, especially when we go over on Monday the pre-test, because I will be going the same thing as what we just did here. So anyone for question 4, is that mean, proportion, mean, or correlation regression?
Mean.
This is mean. Looks like Marina got this. Is that Marina? Is that you?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's you. So Marina is the one answering the question here. I don't know the rest of you guys are sleeping or not paying attention. You picked the wrong time to pay attention in today's class. Is this 1 or 2 groups? You can tell by the data set already. How many data set I give it to you? 1 or 2 data sets? 1.
One.
So this is 1 group. If it's 2 groups, I have to give you 2 groups. I have to label it male, female, or something like that. Okay, so I will have to give you 2 groups of data, and then I have to label them, both of them. So this is 1 group. And are we doing confidence interval? Are we doing hypothesis testing, or both? So you can tell that we are doing the confidence interval. So that means that for StatCrunch is number 10, but we are not doing summary. We are doing with data. So what you need to do, class, for this question 4 is you have to enter this 30. I don't know how many people here. All this data set into var1, and then go to stats. T-stat 1 sample with data, and you will select the var1, this variable in here, and then you will find the 90% confidence interval. Okay, so you do have to enter this. There's no shortcut to do this, and your answer will be on the solution. So go ahead and look for the solution in this case. Questions, anyone with this? Read question 5. Ask yourself, mean, proportion, or correlation regression? Anyone for question 5?
Mean.
Mean. See the word mean pop up. So I need to teach you how to find these keywords so that you know that, this is not that difficult. Okay. Is this 1 group or 2 group?
1.
1 group, because we're doing one in 1 city. If you do 2 cities, then it's 2 groups. Are we doing confidence interval, hypothesis testing, or both?
Hypothesis.
This is hypothesis testing. And how do we know this is hypothesis testing? Is you don't see the word confidence interval. You will see also this significant level. But this question is a little bit different because they don't use the word test the claim. Then some students are asking me, David, why do we get something like this in the test? I said no. In the test, it'll be very similar to your homework and notes, where I will say what in the homework where I say test the claim, right? Usually you see test the claim. So usually in your finals, you will see the word test the claim. So you don't need to worry about that. So you know that once you hear the word test the claim, we are doing hypothesis testing, unless they ask you to do the confidence interval. So so if you look at this one, let's see, where is this at the cheat sheet here? So we are doing mean, 1 group, and you're doing hypothesis testing. So in StatCrunch, we are doing number 14. So this is the StatCrunch piece we're gonna do. So so in this case, we're gonna do StatCrunch number 14. And again, we got choices. Every time when you do mean, you always have choices. Either you do summary or data. So since this question 5 giving us the summary statistics, we will do summary in this case. Okay. So then the question is asking David, where is the claim statement? Okay, so this is another student will ask. We'll say, where's the claim statement? So this will be the claim statement. The mean age of prison city is less than 26 years. This is a claim statement here. So how do I know this is the claim statement in this case? The reason why this is a claim statement that I highlight in red here is because of the word less than. So usually the claim statement has a claim value, and it also has inequality, like the word less than, greater than, or equal to. So once you hear that, then usually it's the claim statement. But usually in the test, I will say test the claim that This is usually what we'll be replacing here. So you know that once you hear the word test the claim that so on, so on, so on, whatever comes after that will be your claim statement. This is something you will get in my finals, so not something like this. And again, because we are doing this hypothesizing, you have to do the 7 steps. So when you look at the solution for the number 5, you will find out that these are the 7 steps or 6 steps, depending do you have a question or not. Based on this, I don't see what is his conclusion. So the conclusion means step number 6. So that means it doesn't have any questions. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I forgot to put the test sampling distribution. So make sure you guys do put in the sampling distribution. So step 5 and 6 here, and the last step is not there. Yep. So that will be question number 5. Are you guys doing all right here? All right, let's do number 6. Read question 6. Long questions here. Is that mean, proportion, or correlation regression?
Proportion.
So this is proportion. The reason why this proportion is you see a lot of percent symbol on it. These are all the percent symbol in this case. Okay. And you don't, and the other thing you figure out, this is talking about unemployment. So either you so it's a categorical type. So either you employ or unemployed, right? So so it's not like the age, or it's not about the heart rate or something else, right? So it is about the it's categorical. So this is proportion in this case. Okay. Is that 1 or 2 groups?
1.
This is still 1 group. And then this is, you can tell that this is doing hypothesis testing. What give a hypothesis testing in this case is it does not have the word confidence interval on it. And also you find out this question 6 doesn't have the word mean. Okay. So if you look at question 6, it does not have the word mean on it. Okay, so that's the reason why that this is proportion in this case. Okay. So let's take a look at the cheat sheet here. So we are doing proportion, the left side here. We are doing 1 group with hypothesis testings. This is number 13. In StatCrunch, this is number 13. So this is StatCrunch number 13. So when you go to StatCrunch number 13, which is this one, you have to go to Stat, Proportion Stat, 1 sample with summary, and the options is hypothesizing. So you go to Stat, proportion stat, one sample with summary, and make sure that you have a hypothesis testing in this case. So this is the correct one, and they need X and N. Unfortunately, this question, if you read, what is the claim statement? Now, again, as I mentioned early on, I will always provide you the claim statement. Okay, so which I will say test the claim here. Okay, so anyone know what is the test, a claim statement in this case? This is where you got the words claim here, and it claims that what? The unemployment has not changed in the last 2 months. So this whole sentence is the claim statement, and the word not change means equal. Okay, they are same. And the 5.3 is what we call as your claim value. So this is your claim statement. The one I highlight in red here. And 5.3% in this case is your claim value. That means that this should be 0.053 when you type it in your StatCrunch. Okay. Now this, as you know, StatCrunch need X. So this is the one I highlight in blue here, is where is your they do a random sample. So every time when you do a random sample, this is where the X and N came out. Okay. So every time they do anything with the random sample of this, this is where you put it into your numbers. But if you read this question did not give us X. They give us 1,000, which we know that is your sample size because they pick 1,000 sample size people, and found out that 3.8% is the unemployment rate. So in this case, this is your p hat. Okay, and why this is p hat is because it comes from a sample, and this is a proportion. So if you look at the notes we have on the proportion, this is sample proportion. Okay, because it comes from a sample and it's a decimal or percent. So it's a sample proportion, in this case p hat. But you know that your StatCrunch need X. So how do you find X number of success? Since the question gives us N and p hat, you multiply it. So in this case, in order for you to figure out what is X in this case, you have to multiply 1,000 with 0.038, which is 3.8%. So that is how, and I think that gives you 38 if you use a calculator. So this is where you put your 38 in this case. And the number of observation is 1,000. And you want to figure out if this is not changed. Not changed means equal and not equal to. So when you hit compute, so this is your test statistics and p-value in this case. So when you look through the whole 7 steps, so hopefully, now I did not go through all these 7 steps. I think I assume you guys already know how to do your 7 steps. Hypothesizing, because we've been doing it since last week ago. So we're kind of getting a little bit bored, but so this is the stuff. And again, the answer is given us right here. So you find out that the test statistic is negative 2.117 and the p-value is 0.0342, and the rest is going the same thing. Anyone have any questions with this review for your finals? Okay. Now we're gonna move on a little bit so you guys can see. Let's do number 9. So I'm gonna move a little bit because the rest of it, if you want to practice, be my guest. And that will be the solution. So this is again review for your finals. This is not the pre-test. I want you guys to read question number 9. And then ask yourself the same thing. Is this mean, proportion, correlation regression? Anyone?
Proportion.
Why this is proportion? Number one, do you see the word, do you find the word mean in this question? We don't, right? There's no word mean in the question here. And the number two, this is a categorical type. So either you wear seatbelts or you don't wear seatbelts, that is categorical. Okay. Is this one or two groups?
Two.
Now this is two groups because now you figure out that they got two, one wear and one do not wear seatbelts, right? And are we doing hypothesis testing, confidence interval, or both?
Both.
This question wants to do both because they want you to do the hypothesis testing and also confidence interval. So you can tell that they want you to do both in this case. So let's look at the table here. So we do proportion, two groups that wants both. There you go. So again, proportion is on the left side. Now we do two groups, which is this side, and you want to do both. So no matter which one you do, you have to use number 15 in your StatCrunch. So this will give us 15 in the StatCrunch. Okay. What is 15 says? 15 says stat, proportion stat, two samples. So we're gonna look at this stat, proportion stat, two sample with summary, and then you're gonna key in your answers, your informations here. And again, this kind of questions are very similar from your notes actually. So some of the questions are similar from notes. So I would recommend you to go through your notes in this case. Okay. Anyone have any questions with this? Okay. Number 10. Don't have a lot left, so we just go a few more left. Number 10. Again, read question 10. Anyone? Is that mean, proportion, or correlation regression for number 10?
Mean.
This is mean. All of them have mean. Is that one or two groups?
Two.
These will be two groups. The reason why is because we're doing comparing between regular Coca-Cola and Diet Coke in this case. Are we doing hypothesis testing, confidence interval, or both?
Hypothesis.
This one is just doing hypothesis testing. They want, where is my claim statement? Somewhere where that you will see the claim statement. Test the claim that same amount of cola. There you go. It's really long. The mean weight is the same as the one in Diet Coke. Okay. So now because it has two groups, because it's mean and two groups, now you will have a dilemma because you either do independent or dependent. Okay, this is only happens when you get two population mean, two groups. So now you have to do one more. Is that independent or dependent? Anyone?
Independent.
This is independent. Again, what is independent means? Independent here means that you can only belongs to one group, either Coca-Cola, regular, or diet. You cannot have one in the middle. So that means this is independent. If it's dependent, is the keyword before, after, or the keyword like family relationship. That will be the other side. Okay. So that means that this is independent. So if you look at the cheat sheet here, we're gonna do two population mean independent. We are doing hypothesis testing. So we are actually doing number 16 here. So we are doing StatCrunch number 16. So this is your statement in this case. So so we are doing number 16 in this case. StatCrunch number 16. 16 in this case is telling us to do stat, t-stat. Before that, I need to open up. So in this question, they don't call you to use what data set, but in the test, I will say data set 37 because that is the caller in this case. So open that, and then you go to number 16. Number 16 here is asking us to go stat, t-stat, to sample. This time we're gonna do with data. The reason why we're gonna use with data here is because you're using data here. And you're doing hypothesis testing, so we're going to do that case. And the values in this case, we do one is the regular Coke. So the first one is in Coke regular weight. I will tell, again, if you do not know which one is here, you can always raise your hand in your test, and I will definitely tell you. And the other one is the Coke diet weight here. And since they say same means equal, so this will be what your StatCrunch will be looks like. And you hit compute, and this will be your solution, your test statistics and p-values. Questions with this? Okay. 11, just a quick read on 11. Mean, proportion, correlation, regression. Now, the question here doesn't say anything about mean. This is actually is mean. Why this is mean in this case is because the variable that we use here is a quantitative variable. We are doing heights. Heights is quantitative. So it's mean in this case. If it's proportion, it has to be categorical type. And this is also two groups because you get two data sets. Okay, again, if you have new one group, two is two groups. This question want us to also do hypothesis testing because the question want us to do the test here. They don't ask us to test it to test the difference. So this is the statement here. Okay. But again, because we have the two groups in this case, so for the mean, we have to branch out. Is this independent or is that dependent? Okay. So so by looking at these questions, because this question is given us by self-reported and measured by the same person, this question is going to be a dependent case. Okay, so this is a dependent case in this case. It's also doing hypothesis testing here. So if you look at the cheat sheet, we are doing dependent with hypothesis testing. The StatCrunch we're using here is number 17. So when you write the statement, make sure you use mu-d, not mu1 and mu2. Okay, so these are the statements you have to write. So in StatCrunch, this is number 17. Okay, and number 17, you're doing pair. So you're going to use the stat, t-stats pair. So you go stat, t-stats, and pair. And usually when you do pair, you have to use data. So that's why you have to enter this data into your StatCrunch. And then you use sample one is, oh, but don't forget, every time when you do two groups, make sure you identify, so two groups, make sure you identifying which one is the first one and which one is the second one, right? I told you before. So make sure in the test, you're identifying which one is which, okay? And you have to enter this into your StatCrunch, and then you will use this as your answer in this case. And you will notice that mu d is popping up here, not mu1 minus mu2. All right, last question, question 12. I want you to read question 12. Is this mean, proportion, correlation, regression?
Correlation regression.
Yes, this is correlation regression. Now, if you do correlation regression, you do not need to worry about two groups, one group, hypothesis testing, because correlation and regression is always hypothesis testing. We don't have the choice of that. As you guys remember, correlation regression, you don't have one group or two groups. You always do hypothesis testing. So this is the one, the pink one that I draw in the corner here. This is the one that we are doing here. So you are doing number 18. Okay, so you do need to go to the quicks. Again, I will tell you which data set is this. Quicks, I believe, is earthquake number 24. So this is data set number 24. So in the test, I will tell you which data set you use. So you won't look for it. So this is data set number 24. This is the earthquake between magnitude and depth. And since magnitude comes in first, this is your X variable and the depth will be your Y variable. And you're going to do number 18 in StatCrunch. Okay, so that will be the very last one, stat, regression, simple linear. And your variable X in this case is magnitude. And the variable Y is depth. All stays the same, don't change it. Hit compute. This will be your correlation coefficient, which is A. We'll put A here. And scatter plot is on the next page, which is, you can tell that, class, is this linear or not? If you got this scatter plot, linear or not linear?
Linear.
Yes, scatter plot is linear. Don't forget that if you have a flat line or it's all scattered like this, it is still considered linear. Okay, just want to point out to you that. So make sure you guys know that this is still considered linear. And then the p-value is right here, which is right over here, and the test statistic is right over there. Make sure you pick the second one, not the first line, second row in this case, right here. This is what you're looking for. And then if they ask you for the equation of a regression line, this is a regression of equation of the regression line. But don't forget to put a hat on the Y here because your StatCrunch didn't forget to put a hat on it. And then you make a prediction after that using the three conditions. So this is the what we did just this past 2 days ago or yesterday. So this is the correlation regression type. So it's a very different from those previous questions that we had. Okay, so that's it for today. I really want you guys, if you guys, the first thing you guys need to do for me, class, is make sure you do your homework. So there are 3 homeworks left in this case, which is the 9.3, 10.1, and 10.2. These are the 3 homeworks left. Finish out your homework this weekend. Again, do not procrastinate. Do your homework first. And then once you finish doing your homework, then I will say, please try your best to tackle these questions. When you come back on Monday, we will do the last 2 questions here, 13 and 14, because this question will be coming out as your MCQ. Okay, that's why I'm not going to concentrate more on that, because the multiple choice is only worth 1 point here. The previous questions that you have here, this worth a lot of points, 10 to 15, 16 points. So it's only being your open-ended, and you don't get that many questions. You only get like around like 5 open-ended questions, but the rest is, so when you come back Monday, we'll do these last 2 multiple choice questions, 13 and 14. And then the pre-test, the finals pre-test, which is this one. I would highly recommend you guys to print it out, because this is the one that we will be also going over on Monday. Once we finish doing these last 2 questions in your review here. So this is the one that you will get very similar to your finals. So some of you ask me which one is more, is that the review or the final pre-test? I say final pre-test because it has mostly, all the instructions and everything, because the review finals here doesn't have so many instructions. But the final pre-test you see here, they all have instruction, the more detailed instructions. So this will be something I will say you will that you need to do. Probably will be something that I want you to print out if you have a printer at home, so you can follow along on Monday class. Okay, so that will be your homework. Is 1, do your homework, online homework, the last 3 homework. 2, try your best to do this review, the review for the finals, which you can find in the D2L. And then 3rd, print this out. And if you guys want to try to tackle this pre-test finals, I say go for it if you want to tackle it. However, time yourself, because you got around, I will say, an hour and 30 minutes, because you will get 5. Some of you ask me how many questions. You will get 5 open-ended questions like this, and you also get around like 12, 13 multiple choice. So, so hopefully you can tackle these 5 questions in an hour to an hour and a half, and then the rest you will concentrate on the multiple choice. So that will be something if you want to do it, help yourself to do practice. That will be good. So that's it for today's class. Does anyone have any questions for